Welcome to the SilverQuant Asset Screener tutorial video. We're going to go over the usage of this tool and what all these funny lines mean today. Okay, so the purpose of the asset screener is the same as asset screeners you find elsewhere around the internet. Namely, it is to identify stocks with particular characteristics. There's a couple main differences with the SilverQuant screener tool. Mainly, that is the quantities involved. All of these quantities are inferred estimates using statistical models, as opposed to the typical values you'll find out there, such as dividend rates and other values that can be pulled directly from quarterly reports and things like that. The other thing which really separates the SilverQuant asset screener is the use of the parallel coordinates display. And we're going to talk about how that's used now. First, a quick overview of what it is we're looking at here. We see a number of vertical lines. Each of these vertical lines corresponds to a SilverQuant variable. Okay. Now we also see a number of zigzag lines, which are zigzagging through the set of variables. There is one zigzag line per stock. Okay. And the zigs and the zags are determined by the value of that variable for that stock. So for example, a stock who has a true index coefficient of 0.05 is going to intersect the true index vertical line here. Now let's suppose that this same stock has a price model R-squared value of 0.8. Well, you're going to see a line drawn from 0.05 true index up to 0.8. Okay. Now that same stock might have a price model Z-score of 0, say. So this line is going to zag all the way down to 0. And so on and so on. It will zigzag across all the different variables. Now let's go over which variables are available currently and what they mean briefly and how they're used. So the first variable, as I mentioned, is the true index variable, and it contains the true index coefficient for that stock. The range of this variable is negative 0.02 up to positive 0.1 or so. Each number line has a different scale and unit associated with it. Okay, the price model R-squared is the goodness of fit, or the predictability of that stock, and it ranges from 0 to 1. The price model Z-score is a measure of the degree of surprise at the current price level for that stock as determined by the price model. The units are standard deviations, and a value of 0 means complete lack of surprise, and a value above roughly say 4 or below negative 4 indicates a larger degree of surprise on that stock. So that stock is really moving. The next variable is the silver model R-squared, which is again a goodness of fit value ranging from 0 to 1. And next we have the silver model leverage factor. This is a quantity that is estimated by the silver model, and it describes the degree of responsiveness to the silver price that particular asset has. Next we have the silver model Z-score, which again is a measure of price surprise in units of standard deviations. And finally, we have the returns. So this is, has the stock gone up or down over the selected time range? The currently selected time range is, as usual, up here. We're showing 18 months right now. Now, this has a different kind of unit that you might not be used to seeing. It's called log fold change. And statisticians really like log fold change because it has a number of advantages over your usual, percentage change measure. One important advantage is that we can really track large ranges, because our junior miners really can go, as you know, quite high and quite low, and this scale can capture those extremes. Another reason that statisticians really like log fold change is that it's symmetric for positive and negative values. The typical percentage change has a hard limit at 0. You can't go below 0, or negative 100%, I should say, change. That's a bound on that range, on that scale. Whereas you can go as high as you want. You can go to 5,000, 10,000%, whatever. And so it's an asymmetric scale, and we don't like it for that reason. This scale, on the other hand, is unbounded. It's centered at 0, which would mean an unchanged price, and it goes to positive infinity and negative infinity. Negative infinity is interpreted as a stock that is going to 0 value, but on this scale, you never actually get there, okay? And what that means is that you tend to get a nicer spread of the lines as they intersect the log fold change value at different points. All right, let's move on. The way we use the parallel coordinates interface is to select ranges that we want to see. So let's say we are interested in seeing which assets have a high silver leverage estimate. Now, the first thing we're probably going to want to do is select assets that have a large R-squared value, or at least somewhat large R-squared value. And the reason is because if the model's not fitting, then the associated leverage value probably doesn't have much meaning, right? So let's make sure that the model's fitting. Let's say 0.7 and above. So this means the silver price is actually has some predictive value of the asset price. And now we're interested in stocks with high leverage. So we're going to drag a region here until we, grab some more stocks. Okay, so what we've done is we've filtered down stocks that have intersected the upper range of the R-squared and also the upper range of the leverage variable. Okay, and so what we see on the right are the associated stocks. We have a column for each of the variables over here, and they are sortable. So let's go ahead and sort by the silver z-score. So we're now employing 3 variables all at once. We're employing the R-squared value, the leverage value, and the z-score value. And what we're pulling up here is, by sorting by the z-score, we're looking at, you might say, cheap or underpriced, undervalued stocks, according to the silver leverage model, that fit the model fairly well and have a decent leverage value. And our number one result here is Avino Silver. So what we could do now is click Avino Silver, and for convenience, that highlights it as the currently selected stock. And now we're free to jump to any other of the analysis tabs that we want. Let's look at the leverage chart, since we've filtered on a bunch of leverage values. Okay, and this is what a stock that has decent curvature and fits the leverage model well looks like. Namely, we see the cloud of data points is close to the line. Okay, and that means that this curve, is pretty descriptive of the stock price as the silver price moves. And we also saw that the z-score value was pretty low. That means the dot, the most recent date, was below the estimated price given the price of silver. We actually can see now, this is a real-time value. So we filtered on yesterday's values, and it showed that this was underpriced. And today we see a big jump up with Avino Silver. So maybe that's random. Maybe it's not. Who knows? Let's go back. As I said before, this is a nice way of really tying together different characteristics of the stock. So let's try one more. Let's look at stocks that have a high true index coefficient, and also that have performed poorly over the last selected time range of 18 months. So we can select these two values, and here we've picked out Argonaut Gold, and it's had a return of negative 77%. Now, please be aware, this is the traditional percentage change, not the funny log fold change value. The reason is because they're not displayed on a number line, we don't really need the log fold change characteristics here. So let's click Argonaut Gold. And now, instead of going to the leverage model, let's go look at the time series and see what Argonaut has been up to. Okay, well, here's your big price drop. We started up here at $2.39, and today we are sitting at about 50 cents. Okay, let's go back. That is a overview of how to use the Asset Screener tab. This tool really ties together the different capabilities of the site and lets you find stocks of interest. Okay, thank you.